Bienvenidos to Humans in Accounting, the podcast where we pause the AI buzz for a minute and focus on the real humans behind the numbers. We chat with founders and leaders to hear their journey, what drives them, and the important things in life. Because behind every balance sheet, there's a story worth telling. Humans in Accounting is brought to you by South Offices. Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of Humans in Accounting, where firm owners share their story behind the spreadsheets. As you know, I'm Alex Roman, I'm your host, and today's episode is sponsored by South Offices, connecting accounting talent across borders. Today's guest is Jessica Fox. Jessica Fox, owner at Florida Virtual Bookkeepers. I'm really happy just to have you here in the show in Humans in Accounting. Jessica, welcome.
Thank you, Alex. It's an honor to be here.
Thank you. It's unfortunate because we were both, a few weeks, well, now I guess like a month or over a month ago in Orlando in Scaling New Heights. We were both in the same event and we weren't able just to meet directly in person. There were a lot of people as well. So maybe it was not our fault, but well, now definitely on the next event, whether it's Scaling New Heights or any other event, I'll make sure just to say hi. All right.
I would love that. Yes, it was a huge event, and there were some people that I've known online for years that I wanted to meet up with, and it just didn't happen. So unless we carefully plan it, it can be easy to miss with such a large crowd in that.
Absolutely. Jessica, was this the first time you went to Scaling?
It was my second time.
It was your second time. Mine as well. So then we haven't met on the first one or this year, but then definitely you're gonna go next year.
That is the plan. So third time should be the charm.
Yeah. Okay, that's an expression that I didn't know in English. Third time should be the charm.
Usually they say third time is the charm.
Is the charm. All right.
Yes.
I know it in Spanish. You know, I'm Argentinian. In Spanish, what do we say? La tercera es la vencida. That's exactly the same. Well, yeah, definitely. Next year, and Scaling New Heights, or maybe are you going to go to any other event before the end of the year?
Probably not. I still have a family with young children, so it's kind of disruptive for me to abandon them for too long. The advantage of Scaling New Heights is that I can bring the entire family and they go do the tourist thing at Disney. They have fun going on rides, and I can geek out with my fellow accountants. So that's a win-win.
It's definitely a perfect plan. Yeah, even more if you have children. The event is located in a great hotel, and you have all the parks there, so it's great. I wanted just to go this year to the new park of Universal. Now I forgot the Epic, was it, right?
Epic Universe.
Yeah. Have you been there already?
No. Usually I don't like theme parks myself, which is why it works out that I get to be at the conference where my husband and kids get to stand in the Florida heat and stand in the long lines. We'll go eventually when the novelty wears off and it's not as crowded. We are planning on going to Universal next month, well, in September, for Halloween Horror Nights. So we may if we have time, but it's not the plan.
Okay, perfect. I since I was already there, in Argentina, it's a long flight to Orlando.
It is.
And I just wanted to maybe go one day. Well, I wasn't able to do it. Maybe next year when we meet, we can go. Great.
I hope you get a chance.
Jessica, absolutely. Tell me a little bit. I'm curious if you can tell us a little bit about your background and how you started, and that'll be great until basically this point, or until the moment you built your own firm, Florida Virtual Bookkeeper.
So I did not grow up saying I want to be a bookkeeper or an accountant when I grow up. I actually went to college for something completely unrelated. I was studying international relations and political science. But the fact that around 10 years old, I used to do my parents' taxes for fun. Like back then they used to mail this really thick booklet full of worksheets and instructions. And I used to go through all of the instructions and all of their paperwork and fill it out for fun. They still had an accountant that did their taxes. But after 2 years, by the time I became 12 years old, the accountant realized she's been getting the numbers right. She's been matching what I do for 2 years in a row. You may just want to have her do the taxes instead of paying me. So that should
Whoa.
have been the clue that I was good at that maybe I should have looked at it into a career. But it wasn't until I was in college studying something completely unrelated. I needed a job and I got hired as an administrative assistant for a nonprofit organization that had just lost their bookkeeper and they were in the middle of their financial audit. It's just an annual independent audit they have to go through every year. But because they did not have a bookkeeper, nobody knew what was needed. They were having conflict with the auditor. So I came in and I'm overhearing these conversations and it's making sense to me. So I said, can I help? And they said, sure, please, whatever you can do. And it turned out that it was an initiation by fire, but I had a predisposition to just picking it up on the first try. And that we were able to pass the audit. The auditor was so impressed, he offered to mentor me. So that's how I got started in the industry. I then got promoted in that nonprofit organization. I went from administrative assistant to bookkeeper and ended up becoming the director of finance until I left. And I tried to do other stuff, but I tried to have my own business on an unrelated field. And I discovered that my favorite part of running the business was doing the bookkeeping. So fast forward a couple of years, I got married, had my first child, I had a full-time job, and I realized I do not want to abandon my baby for over 40 hours per week. I want to be home for my child. So I decided on my first week back from maternity leave to quit the job. No plan. All I knew is I wanted to be with my baby. But I needed to figure out how to help put food on the table. At the time, my husband had an income, but by itself, it wasn't enough to maintain the standard of living that we were used to. So I defaulted back on the bookkeeping skills that I had. I just started freelancing. It wasn't a business. It was just a side hustle, working as myself. It just put enough food on the table for a couple of years until I had a second child and both children grew past the toddler age that I realized, I could really build something out of this. So in 2016, I decided to turn my side hustle into my main hustle. I formally organized my firm, Florida Virtual Bookkeeper, and as they say, the rest is history.
Whoa, incredible! I just want to ask you. You said you worked for a few years, or at the beginning as a freelancer. How did you get those clients? They I don't know, family, friends, people you knew. How I want to know how you got those first clients without having yet Florida Virtual Bookkeeper.
Yes, so it all started with one friend who was a tax preparer, and she started to give me project work for all of the people that would just drop off the boxes of receipts and expected a tax return to come out of it. She will give me all of those tax of paperworks, and I will create tax-ready financials so that then she could create the tax return. Some of those clients were impressed enough that then they hire me to be their contractor bookkeeper, and then it was just word of mouth after that.
Oh, that's great. That's great. And then you said 20. When did you start it? 10 years ago? 9 years ago?
2016 is 9 years ago is when I formally organized Florida Virtual Bookkeeper. When I got the website and I registered with the government as a separate name and created the logo and all that fun stuff that comes from creating a business.
Absolutely, absolutely. And back then, let me ask you, I see it goes right to the point. Florida Virtual Bookkeeper. Back then, you were living in Florida. It's my guess.
Yes, I was. I was living in Florida at the time, and I am not creative. I have very left brain, so I was having trouble coming up with a name for my business because I wanted to be easily understood. I didn't want people to hear the business name and ask me, what does that mean? What do you do? So I
Absolutely.
got as basic and straight to the point as I possibly could get. And that's how it was born. So originally it was Florida because that's where I resided. Now I live in the state of Georgia. So if people ask me, I will say that it's because it's Florida for Spanish for flowerful or flowering.
All right, all right. So that's the okay. That's what you say. Perfect. Unless now people are watching this podcast and they realize, oh no, it was actually because she was in Florida. Okay, okay, that makes perfect sense. And obviously, you work with like nationwide. You have clients from all the states, correct?
Correct. So I originally started marketing towards people in Florida, but I quickly learned that I could serve anybody with an internet connection. So as long as
Right.
their business is incorporated in the United States, it doesn't matter where they are located. And word of mouth or just people finding me through Google and they did not care that my name said Florida in it. They would be in Michigan or California or somewhere else. And I was able to help them. It just grew.
Yeah. Okay. Okay. Perfect. Perfect. Let me ask you. Well, I've seen that you work specifically. Do you have like a niche that you work with, a specific industry? I know small business owners. I understand. Correct.
Correct. So when I started, I did not know what a niche was or that I needed one. I was
Right.
so desperate for some revenue that I was willing to take anybody with a wallet and a pulse. I was not
Right.
picky, but I very quickly learned that that was not a very efficient way to scale or to deliver high quality service. So over the years, I have refined more and more. And I like to target digital creatives, especially those in the startup stage, because I want to help them overcome the odds that say that 50% of them won't make it to 5 years and 70% of them won't make it to 10 years. I do have a lot of nonprofits, even though I don't market to them, just because that's where I got started. That's where my original on the job training came from. So the nonprofit directors will go to the nonprofit conferences and talk to some other organizations and say, hey, talk to my bookkeeper. So even though I don't market to them, I am passionate about helping them fulfill their mission. So I will take them on because it is an industry I am very familiar with.
Right, makes sense. I was going to ask you how do you get clients, but I understand, and I also saw in your website you have a few testimonials also in the videos. They're really nice, but I understand that maybe you get many referrals, right, from clients that are happy that you get introduced to, as you said, maybe another nonprofit or another client, and that's a way that I imagine, and please correct me if I'm wrong, where you get how to get new clients, right?
So originally, that's how I got 100% of my clients, but over time, it has shifted. I still get some referrals, but the vast majority of my prospects actually come from search engines. They're not searching for a bookkeeper, they are searching for answers to a question that I've answered somewhere online, whether it be in a blog post or a YouTube video that I created. These are usually the people that are trying to do it themselves. They get stuck, they search for that question, they find me giving the answer, and then they realize, my time is more valuable than this. I should really outsource it. And then I am top of mind because I already built that know, like, and trust factor. They already see me as the expert. They see how I communicate. They see that I translate the jargon to plain English. They essentially, by the time they come to me, I don't need to sell. I just need to help them buy.
Right. Okay. That's great. Yeah. I also saw you have. When did you start your YouTube channel? Because I've seen that you have quite a few videos. Again, giving explanations with a lot of views. So I could definitely understand how you get clients through there. How do you remember? Was it like your idea? Hey, maybe I should need just to post a video here and give this explanation. How the how that started? I'm curious.
So for a long time, I kept hearing that for marketing and SEO, I needed to create video content, but I was way too shy. I felt I am a little bit of a perfectionist, so I felt like I needed high quality studio and lights and editing and all that fancy stuff. But one of my business teachers just said, just get started. And I originally started creating videos just to answer a question for a client. So I was creating videos just for one client, how to do this in QuickBooks Online, or how do I read a report. And one day I couldn't sleep and I felt brave, and I decided, okay, these videos don't have any sensitive information in them because I wasn't using the client's own file to record a tutorial. Let me
Right.
post them on YouTube and see what happens. And they just took off on their own. And that helped me realize that we do not need perfection, we just need good information. So it's okay if I stumble upon my words. It's okay if my background isn't perfect or my light isn't studio quality, because people are just looking for the answer to their pressing need.
Yeah, that's so powerful advice. That's something that I've learned through the years that maybe I wish I someone told me, or I had a business coach as you who told me this maybe 20 years ago. But that's really really powerful advice. Jessica, I don't know how familiar you are with humans in accounting, but at some point of the podcast, I do this random question that has nothing to do with accounting, or maybe it does. I'm referring to, again, I don't know if you know, I'm a foodie guy. For me, food is important. Just trying just to build this ranking of the best food of humans in accounting. So this is me asking you, Jessica, what's your this direct question? What's your favorite food?
My favorite food is Mexican, specifically tacos. I have not met a taco I did not like.
Okay, Mexican. You know what? I'm pretty sure, like right now we are less than 20 episodes. Maybe Mexican food is ranking number one. So okay, there you go. One more vote for Mexican food. Perfect. Let me ask you now. Let's go back to your business. I want to ask you one yeah, one achievement, one milestone. 9 years, it's a lot of years. What's the first thing that comes to mind when I ask you for one achievement you got, or yeah, one milestone you got in Florida Virtual Bookkeeper?
The first milestone that comes to mind is the first time that my firm won top 50 accounting practice in North America. That was a huge honor because I never in a million years thought that my tiny boutique firm would be able to complete in such a big environment where there's thousands of firms, many of them many times the size of mine. And now I've had the honor of having that award 3 years and counting.
Well, incredible, incredible. And when was this?
It started 3 years ago. So I won 2023, 2024, and currently 2025. We'll see about next year.
Congratulations. Yeah, I
Thank
saw
you.
those at with your signature. That's great. Let me ask you plans for the future. How is this gonna continue? Tell me. Yeah, well, what are your plans for the rest of the year and for the coming 9 years?
So for the rest of the year, we've reached thankfully a coasting stage where I do not feel the need to grow. I've decided that I do not want to be the Walmart of bookkeeping. I want to be very specialized and boutique. I love doing the work more than I enjoy managing others. So I'm at a very comfortable size where I can, as needed, put on a waiting list instead of having to take on the steady stream of prospects as they come. So that's the plan for the rest of the year. But going forward for 10 years, I just hope to continue being a trailblazer in the industry, helping inspire other bookkeepers and accountants, because I am not trying to take all the clients. So I need good, qualified people that I can refer them to. And I do this through a community that I created called the Bookkeeping Systems Lounge, where is my way of giving back to the community, because working by ourselves can be very isolating. And college doesn't teach us everything that we need to do about everything that we need to know about running a firm. It will teach us the debits and credits, but not the mindset and the systems and the processes and all of these things that I found critical for my growth and success.
Right. And so tell me a little bit more about this community. How does it work? Again, for someone in the future listening to this podcast while they're driving or while they're running or while they're doing something, if they're bookkeepers and they want to join, how does it work? Tell us a little bit more.
Sure. They just visit the website bksystemslounge.club. It's free to join. And there is discussion boards. It's outside of social media. So people that don't like Facebook groups or LinkedIn groups don't need to be bothered with social media. It's its own standalone website. There are discussion boards. I have mini courses where I share content as I created from everything that I've ever created is centralized in one place. And I also hold free monthly live sessions where I either teach a topic, have a guest, or I have open office hours where people can pick my brain and ask me anything that they need to know that will help them take their business to the next level.
Incredible. And all this, you said it's free? I mean, I can
That is
sign up.
correct. So group membership is free. I do offer one-on-one private sessions for a nominal fee for those that may need the accountability or they need the one-on-one support.
Okay, perfect. And from all these things that you do, let me ask you this. I like asking this. What's the thing that you like the most? What's the thing that you are most passionate about?
Passionate about helping translate the jargon for clients into plain English so they're no longer scared about their financials and making business decisions. But I'm also very excited when it comes to systems and processes. I am always looking for ways to be more efficient, and I have that passion not just with sharing it with other bookkeepers and accountants, but also in helping the clients to inspire them to become more efficient in their business.
That's great. That's inspiring. Well, throughout this episode, maybe knowing or without knowing, you already mentioned some advices that mentors maybe gave to you or that you learned. Now I want to ask you, what's a good advice that you can give? Yeah, let's say an entrepreneur, not necessarily from accounting, or let's say someone who is a bookkeeper who is thinking of starting their own accounting firm or their own Florida Virtual Bookkeeper, but somewhere else. What's a good advice that you can that
Sure. So from my lessons learned of the things that I wish somebody had told me was
exactly
to start building systems from day one and charge your worth. Do not compete on price and take the time to learn how to accurately price. It's a lot easier to start pricing the right way from day one than severely undercharging and then have to undo that damage later on.
Okay, yeah, definitely agree with that second part. But you also mentioned start building your processes on day one, you said?
Yes. Because
Okay.
when I first started my business, I was winging it, meaning as it became necessary, I will do it. And then the next time that I needed to do that thing again, I will do it slightly differently because I did not have any process documented. And that made it very inefficient. It made it very inconsistent in the quality of the work, the feel for the client. I mean, the output was correct, but how I got there was slightly different, which can lead to an inconsistent client experience. And then what really was the wake-up call is you need to be able to get everything out of your brain. Because
Exactly.
for me, it reached the breaking point where I will wake up at 3 in the morning in a cold sweat, freaking out. Did I do this? Because I didn't have a checklist anywhere that I mark as done. So then I have to turn on my computer in the middle of the night to see, oh, yes, I did it. I did it. But then I am wired. I cannot go back to sleep. And at one point, I needed to have surgery, and the doctor said, you will not be able to work for at least 6 weeks, maybe 8. So at that point, I needed to outsource to somebody to take care of my clients. And in order to have the peace of mind and know that my clients were taken care of, I needed them to follow my processes. So if I didn't have it documented, I would have been so stressed out. Maybe they would have done it well or not, but they would have done it differently. So for me, it's very important to have everything systemized, because right now, if I win the lottery and I decide that I want to go on a world cruise and not bring my laptop, because I cruise 3 times per year and my laptop is not allowed to come, but those world cruises are a year long. I know that I can outsource this to anybody like your company. And as long as you guys follow my processes, my clients will be taken care of. They wouldn't even notice that I was gone.
Exactly. Well, that's yeah, again, very, very powerful advice. I was gonna say that sometimes when you're starting, maybe you're not even sure about like, hey, is this the correct way or the most efficient way just to do this? I'm not entirely sure. Still, I think it makes sense just to document that process, and from that process, it does not mean that once it's documented, you cannot change it and it's gonna be like that for the following 9 years. No, obviously you can iterate it, you can improve it.
Right.
But if you don't have that documented, and again, if you're ill, you're in surgery, no one will ever be able, and you won't be able to scale your business. So that's definitely something that I really.
Correctly. No, I agree 100%, because my growth was very limited by my lack of systems. When I started to systemize, I doubled the amount of clients that I could serve in the same number of hours. And since then, I've reduced the number of hours and served 3 times the amount of clients, because I have systems and processes that make me efficient. One of my rules is never write the same email twice. That saves so much time. To have a template for any frequently used email. It's just the little things that really compound. So now I'm able to have a lifetime business, a work-life balance that I didn't have at the beginning because I was a workaholic. Now I serve over 30 clients myself, not a staff, and I only work 25 hours per week. And part of that time includes the time that I spend teaching other bookkeepers and accountants. So it's not like I'm doing bookkeeping for that entire time.
Well. And in that time, you're considering maybe also recording a video on YouTube, or yeah, being on this community, or yeah, doing bookkeeping for your clients.
Correct.
And it's true what you mentioned. You don't take your laptop with you when you're on vacations, right?
I used to feel that I could not take time off because the business was just me. So if I was gone, I will have to come back and catch up. But I realized that that just leads to burnout. And I was very drained mentally. So a few years ago, I made it a rule that as long as my vacation is planned, not a last minute impromptu trip, I will make sure that my laptop was not allowed. And I go on 3 vacations, sometimes 4 vacations per year. Plus, I go to the Scaling New Heights conference. My laptop is not allowed in the conference because I am there to network and learn, not to be doing client work or fielding client questions. And the
Right.
beautiful thing is that when I come back, nothing is on fire. Everybody's fine because there are no emergencies in accounting. As long as you plan and time block properly and manage your due dates realistically, it's perfectly doable to take time off and completely disconnect, not be thinking about, oh, this client is waiting on reports, or oh no, QuickBooks was having an outage, I fell behind, or oh, this client has questions. I am fully able to disconnect, recharge my battery, and have quality time with my family, which I didn't have the first few years that I started the business because I couldn't separate the work from the personal because my office was in my house.
Yeah, it's so important to do that. Even in weekends, sometimes I find myself thinking, oh, I got to do this, I got to do that, and then I remind myself, hey, no, hold on, this is your weekend. You're working, Alex, during the weeks. Yeah, definitely, that's good advice. Jessica, again, I'm sure there's a lot of viewers and listeners in the future listening to this episode, and they want to reach out to you. what's the best way to contact you? Obviously, floridavirtualbookkeeper.com. I know you're active on LinkedIn. You have your YouTube channel. You tell us what's the best way to contact you.
So the best way to contact me is via email. You can contact me via the contact form on my website at floridavirtualbookkeeper.com. I am on LinkedIn, but I do get a lot of spam. So if you message me there, please let me know that you learned about me through the podcast, and then I'll make sure that I will reply eventually. I do not check it every day, but I do check it periodically. And if anybody's looking for additional support or wanting to have access to the resources that I created, just go to bksystemslounge.club. It's just free to join. I am very active in there. You can message me privately or tag me in any post, and I am happy to help.
Jessica, I'm so happy we made this episode together. It was really nice having you here in Humans in Accounting. Really looking forward, I guess, to meet you in person and Scaling New Heights next year. And if for some reason on your next vacations or whenever your next vacation is in Argentina, just make sure just to let me know, and I'll show you around here in Buenos Aires. All right.
I would love that. Thank you, and I look forward to meeting you at some point. And thank you for the opportunity to be here today. It's been an honor and fun.
Absolutely. Thank you, Jessica. Have a good day. Bye bye.
You too.